Okay, so I'm Jamie McCartney, and basically a sculptor, but a lot of my practice focuses around socio-political work, and has done for years and years. I started going down that route when I was working on a peace boat, like a Greenpeace boat, as a teenager, and it made me understand how grassroots direct action can really bring effective change. So rather than just feeling impotent about the world around me, I felt like I could do things myself that would make a difference. And then I brought that into art school with me and started producing work. Like this is one of the first I did, Lucky Strike. So effectively, it's a simple visual pun using found objects to say talk about the trap of addiction, and that was a really early work. Then I found I wanted to start using myself as a tool in my work, so these became more performative. So this is called trench. I spent 8 hours digging a trench and filling it in, which you might think is ridiculous and pointless. But I was talking about basically this is a physical representation of my value to society, what I can do in 8 hours. So it's just talking about how I fit into a capitalist culture, like what my value is. And then kind of moving on, this is much later work, 2007, carbon miles. So I converted an old East German Trabant, the most polluting car ever made, they say, into the least polluting because it's pedal powered. So I would pedal this car around at parades and, coincidentally up in Blackpool, and it was a lot of fun, in Manchester and other places, demonstrating to people there are alternatives to using your car. Again, using my body as a tool within the artwork, which I think enabled me to have direct contact with people. As an artist, most of the time you're doing something and then you don't know what's going on. The work exists without you. But by becoming a performance artist, it was a great way of interacting with people on a personal level. Next, probably my most famous work, The Great Wall of Vagina. It's now called The Great Wall of Vulva because of the way the terminology has changed in the nearly 20 years since I started it. And I think, social artworks that are in museums are like a conversation with the public. So it was an opportunity to move the sculpture on by changing the title. Effectively, it's 400 casts of different women. It was a reaction against the cosmetic labia surgeries, that are just, I realized they were exponentially growing. And I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable with this idea somehow that people have to look a certain way and would resort to surgery to do it. So I created this showcase of 400 different normal women to show people what normal is. There was no other example of this in the world at the time. And it's been considered a game changer in that conversation. It's a work that I'm proud of. Next piece, 2015, I went to Ukraine to give a lecture. This woman showed me these things I'm holding in my hand, a bullet and some shrapnel, which had wounded her brother. They took it out of him. And so I made copies of this bullet and these pieces of shrapnel in my hotel room, turned my hotel room into a casting workshop. And when I came back, I made this vending machine, which basically vends these copies. When you hold something in your hand which has been through a human, it's a pretty visceral experience. And I wanted to give people that experience. But the money collected, which was quite a lot, I was sending to a charity in Ukraine working on the ground with children to help their psychological rehabilitation, to stop them getting PTSD down the line. So these artworks are not just moaning about something, they're actually trying to have an effect at the same time, to actually do something. And that's going back to my grassroots on the peace boat. And then finally, this is the project that I'm working on now, which I sort of need help with. I'm going to work at Auschwitz, making copies of some of the castings of some of the artifacts that they have there, to create small memorial artworks that, because of their scale, they can be put anywhere. So they can go in a private home, they can go in public places. So really, it's bringing the message of the Holocaust to a wider audience who might otherwise not seek it. Otherwise, you have to go to these places, but this brings the message to you. And with the rise of anti-Semitism and the rise of far-right politics in the world right now, I feel like this is really the right time to do it. But I wouldn't want to do this without endorsements from families. So I'm in the process of finding survivors and families of survivors to talk to them about the work and to get their endorsements and to get their understanding and to see if they really want this work. So far, it's been really positive. What I would say is I need help. I want a personal introduction is very different from just basically going through some of the agencies out there who could connect me with families. So that's the process that I'm going through. It's been a few years now. I mean, the Great Wall of Vagina took me 5 years. I'm used
About
to
five
spending,
minutes.
thank you. I'm used to spending years making projects. So I would say if anybody's interested in this and they know anyone personally who is a family of a survivor, then I'd really welcome being connected to them. And you can find me through my social media and my website. And I'm done. Thank you.